Bonjour mes amis and welcome to another episode of Bailey Cooks. This week we're making France's national dish, Pot-au-Feu, or pot of fire. They're so dramatic. Pot-au-Feu is basically like this really nice stew that's just absolutely filled to the brim with vegetables. If you thought I was wild before about not taking measurements, wait till you see me now. Ah, c'est bon. Pot-au-Feu doesn't take any time at all to actually get chopped up and go in the pot. What does take the time is letting it all simmer and sit and stew. It's really, really worth the wait. It is an awesome holiday dish to serve to everybody. What are you even doing with your life if you are not eating pot of fire? Now to start, we're just gonna kind of put everything in the bowl, let it cook. That's about it. I have nothing left to teach you. Now, if there's one thing the French love, it's butter. I don't plan on disappointing the French. I'm taking a nice big piece of butter. It's the holidays, we can do that. And I'm gonna put it in the pan on the stove that's on like a low to medium heat. The whole thing, you can make this in a slow cooker. You'll finally have someone warm to come home to. We're going to be adding 2 shallots, 2 white onions, 1 full leek, and an entire bulb of garlic. That's right, I said a whole bulb. Get ready to stink to high heaven this holiday season. Now the really awesome and easy thing about pot-au-feu is that you can just kind of give everything a rough chop and throw it in there. Just make sure, like anything else, that if you're cooking it all at the same time, that it's all the same size. I've got everything in like these really nice big chunks. Got ourselves a runaway sprout. If you've ever been to a restaurant and you're wondering like, oh my God, why does restaurant food taste so much better than the food I make at home? I guarantee it's because of butter and shallots. We've got that all cooking back there and my, it smells nice. It smells of Christmas. Next I'm gonna chop up some celery, which is filthy. A really nice rough chop. Minding we don't cut our digits off before the holidays. However, will you open your presents? Next we're gonna chop up some carrots. Did you know that if you chop your carrots into squares, they become squarets? I had one of my chefs tell me, naming names, but it was a really fancy, nice place in Toronto. I was just a lowly George Brown graduate peeling carrots in the back. As you do. The chef came up to me and said, "You're inefficient. You're peeling carrots too slowly. Don't worry, one day you'll be as fast as me. It's not like peeling carrots is the easiest thing in the world. He can eat this pot of fire." Next, we're adding a turnip. I'm not a turnip fan because they're bitter and sour and taste like an old man, but we want to stay true to the recipe somewhat. So instead of eliminating it altogether like I might have liked, I'm just gonna cut slightly smaller pieces. And that's okay because this is a really hard root vegetable, so it can get a little bit softer. So what I'm doing back there is I'm essentially sweating everything in the butter. It's once we get everything in there kind of softened and buttery that we're gonna add our stock and our seasoning. Next, we're gonna be adding a parsnip. Just give it a peel first. I'll show you fast peeling, you son of... When I was very young, I really hated parsnips, so my mother decided that she would make mashed parsnips on my plate to look like mashed potatoes. Not only did I spit them out immediately, I haven't liked parsnips since. I still can't even look at you. You know, they kind of look like little pieces of banana when they're like this. You just love to imitate delicious things, don't you? Now this, my friends, this is celeriac. It's a little different. He can be made into mash, fries, stews, except he's hideously, hideously deformed. He's also a pain in the ass to peel. Now, like I say, folks, you actually aren't gonna get to see the finished product. Not only am I gonna let it simmer, I want it to sit for at least maybe 1, maybe even 2 nights so it really gets that nice rounded flavor. I don't think you wanna hang out with me that long. Next, we're gonna add some potatoes. You know, potatoes. Sticking them in a stew. 4 to 5 small potatoes. Cut those into pretty big sized chunks. I have a feeling this is going to be very, very good. You know what my heart tells me? To add more butter. That's the sound my heart makes when I've eaten too much butter. Now I do love my cabbage, so I'm probably gonna add a lot, probably like half the head. We're gonna smell so good after this. Speaking of smelling good, here come the Brussels sprouts. I'm just gonna take the bottoms off of these and make sure you give those a wash. Now I'm just gonna cut these in half. Some of the bigger pieces I'm even quartering. Usually in a pot-au-feu, you're gonna find beef. So instead of that, we need like a kind of nice meaty replacement. We're gonna use portobello mushrooms because, you know, vegetarians don't get enough portobello portobello mushroom. Not. It's a neat twist though, just because the mushroom isn't replacing something like a full burger patty. It's just going into an already really rich and full hearty stew. So it's just a nice little addition. Thank you, portobello, for being you. Now I'm cutting the mushroom into really, really big chunks because it will really shrink. Plus we want like a nice big meaty bite of it, you know? Now the final step, didn't I tell you this was gonna be a breeze? We are gonna add 8 cups of stock to cover everything. Vegetable stock is best. Mushroom would also be nice. I'm also gonna add some dried herb de Provence as well as some fresh rosemary, parsley, and thyme. Look at that little bundle of joy. Herbe de Provence. Omelette du fromage. The last step is popping these bad boys in there and then just leaving it alone. It's a very tranquil dish. Now I want you guys to see this. I want you to see how nice this is coming together for me. We're taking a trip over to the stove. Got my beautiful herbs, vegetables, and spices. I'm just gonna add a little more water so we can cover absolutely everything. And we're not gonna forget to spill it on the element. That is it, everyone. Eat your hearts out. I've got my heat set to pretty low. I'm gonna pop a lid on there. When I come back, I'm gonna have an awesome dinner. Yum! Now that's it. I told you it was gonna be easy. You can serve this pot-au-feu with a loaf of crusty bread. You can serve it on its own. So nice and rich and hearty and warming. It's one of those great dishes where you can just kind of prep everything, throw it in the pot, leave it, forget it, and come back to it. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Bailey Cooks. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I've so appreciated your company. Don't forget to tune in next week and subscribe just down there. It's right down there somewhere. And have an excellent holiday season. Cheers.